بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. تشریف آوری سکرتر جنرال ناتو استالتنبرگ و وزیر محترم دفاع امریکا جناب متحده به افغانستان خوش آمدید میگیم. نخست از حمایت مستمر و دوامدار 39 کشور عضو ناتو که زیادترین تعداد قربانیان را برای تأمین امنیت و مبارزه در تروریسم در کشور ما متقبل شدن تشکر میکنم. مخصوصا از قربانی‌های دوامدار ایالات متحده امریکا اظهار قدردانی و سپاس دارم. همدارنګه د افغانستان د ولسمشر په حیث باندې په ډیر ویاړ موږ د امنیتي او د دفاعي قواو له میلان نه په دې درې کالو کې مننه کوم. جناب وزیر صاحب دفاع، وزیر صاحب داخله، جناب اتمر صاحب او نور ټول مشران د زړه له کومې نه مننه او مخصوصا د وطن له بچیانو نه چې همیشه د دې خاورې د ساتنې دپاره او د اساسي قانون د محافظت دپاره او د کلمت الله د ساتنې دپاره سرښندنه کړې مننه کوم. جا دارد که از جنرال نیکلسن به خاطر نقش مؤثر او در حمایت از نیروهای امنیتی و دفاعی ما تشکری کنم. در اینجا باید به نمایندگی از مردم افغانستان از رئیس جمهور ترامپ و جنرال ماتیس که استراتژی خود را درباره افغانستان نهایی ساختند و فضا را برای موفقیت در مقابله با تروریسم و ایجاد فضای سیاسی برای صلح که دوامدار و با ثبات فراهم نمودند و با اعلان آن ابهام در افغانستان و منطقه از بین رفت نیز سپاسگزاری کنم. همچنان از سکرتر جنرال ناتو آقای استالتنبرگ دوست دوامدار ما به خاطر حمایت دوامدارشان از ماموریت حمایت قاطع در افغانستان و تلاششان برای تأمین امنیت در کشور اظهار امتنان میکنم. اکنون که استراتژی امریکا و ناتو در قبال افغانستان وضاحت یافته است و جنرال ماتیس تصمیم گرفته است که نیروی کمکی تازه نفس به افغانستان بفرستد، امیدوارم سایر اعضای ناتو هم به پیشنهاد سکرتر جنرال و جنرال نیکلسن در حمایت و آموزش نیروهای امنیتی و دفاعی افغانستان پاسخ مثبت بگوید. زه له خپل ټولو همکارانو نه د ملي وحدت په حکومت کې خاصتا ډاکټر صاحب عبدالله نه د یو مطمئن فضا د منځته راوړلو دپاره ایدې دپاره چې موږ خپل اهدافو ته ورسیږو او د دې اهدافو د لاسته راوړلو دپاره هدفمند حرکت وکړو مننه کوم. به صورت خاص من مدیون تمام مردم افغانستانم که بار اصلی جنگ بر روی شانه های آنها قرار داشته است و با وجود قربانی هایی که در اثر جنایات طالبان و سایر گروه های تروریستی متقبل شدند از خود صبر و تحمل نشان دادند و از دموکراسی و قانون اساسی خود همیشه حمایت کردند. طالبان و سایر گروه های تروریستی در جریان جنگ ها از مردم ملکی ما سپر انسانی می سازند، اما وظیفه اصلی نیروهای امنیتی و دفاعی ما حفظ جان مردم ماست. من به تمام نیروهای امنیتی کشور اکیداً هدایت دادم تا مشترکاً با همکاران بین‌المللی مان در جریان عملیات های نظامی خود حفظ جان مردم ما را از اهداف اصلی خود ساخته قسمی که ساخته بودند و احتیاط نماییم. ما از نیروهای بین‌المللی که نیروهای ما را آزمایش می‌دهند می‌خواهیم که پیوسته وضعیت را از این لحاظ ارزیابی نموده و باید اولویتشان حفظ جان مردم ملکی باشد. موږ د څلور کلنې امنیتي استراتیژي چې د دولت لخوا جوړه سوې او خاصا د امنیت د شورا سلاکار اتمر صاحب او نور همکاران نه مننه کوم او د بین‌المللي ټولنې د تایید وړ ګرځېدلې ده دا ده چې موږ راتلونکي او موږ ځوان مسون او محفوظ اوسي او د دې دپاره موږ قرباني ورکوو د دې دپاره ده چې موږ د کوچنیانو د میرمنو د خویندو او د ورونو راتلونکی اوسا اوسي. پلان امنیتی 4 ساله و اصلاحاتی که در پیان میآید نیروهای امنیتی ما را به نیروهای مجهز و ملی و در راستای ارزش‌های ملی و مذهبی ما آماده می‌سازد تا در پایان آن نیروهای توانا متکی به خود و حافظ امنیت و تمامیت ارضی و حاکمیت ملی داشته باشیم. تطبیق مقدماتی این پلان 4 ساله در فصل تابستان نشان داد که مؤثریت آن در تضعیف دشمن و دفاع از کشور و حمایت از مردم در حال انکشاف است. از وزیر صاحب دفاع، رئیس صاحب، وزیر صاحب داخله و تمام همکارایشان ابراز امتنان میکنم که با مدیریت موفق امسال قوت ما را به دشمنای ما نشان داد و در حفاظت مردم ما تلاش دوامدار کرد. من امیدوارم انتخابات پیشرو فرصت برای مردم افغانستان و قشر سیاسی کشور فراهم کند که در پختگی بیشتر قوای مقننه کشور سهم مؤثر بگیرند. تغییراتی که در ماحول افغانستان آمده است سبب می شود که در قید گذشته نمانیم و از فرصت‌های جدیدی که برای صلح فراهم شده استفاده کنیم. مخصوصاً تغییراتی که در سیاست جهانی نسبت به منطقه پیش آمده است. اکنون زمینه برای ثبات منطقه‌ای فراهم شده و هدف ما این است که این ثبات منطقه‌ای شکل نهایی بگیرد. این به ما فرصت می‌دهد تا زمینه‌های ابعاد صلح‌آمیز منازعات را جستجو کنیم. ما خواهان دنبال کردن صلح در 2 محور هستیم. یکی صلح با پاکستان که از طریق گفتگوی دولت با دولت به دست خواهد آمد، مخصوصاً با این دید که ثبات در افغانستان به ضرر هیچ کشور دیگری نیست و بالعکس ثبات افغانستان می تواند زمینه‌های انکشاف اقتصادی منطقه را فراهم کند. محور دوم صلح بین الافغانی است. امروز به همه ثابت شده است که هیچ کس نمی تواند از طریق جنگ و خشونت خواست خود را بر مردم افغانستان تحمیل کند. بدون شک بهترین راه حل مذاکره است که بین افغانها صورت بگیرد و حکومت افغانستان همیشه این آمادگی را داشته است و دارد. درخواست من از همه طرفهای درگیر این است که شرایط جدید را درک کنند و با تدبیر از این فرصت استفاده کنند. اموک امنیتی او دفاعی ځواکونه په فضل د خدای ورځ په ورځ پیاوړي کیږي او د دوی ظرفیت د دې وطن او د مقدس خاورې د ساتلو دپاره ډیریږي. هغه اشخاص، هغه ډلې چې سوله نه غواړي، تاریخ به ورباندې قضاوت وکړي. دا بهترین فرصت ده، دا فرصت له لاسه ورنکړو. همچنان صلح زمینه ساز مقابله قوی‌تر ما با تروریسم بین‌المللی و نیز پرداختن به برنامه‌های انکشافی و محو فقر و تأمین رفاه مردم خواهد. به خاطر ثبات منطقوی از امن و سایه‌های دور و نزدیک خود از هند تا روسیه می‌خواهم تا در تجدید اجماع منطقوی سهیم شوند، خصوصاً اینکه خطر تروریسم هنوز از بین نرفته است و جدی‌تر شده است. مبارزه مؤثر علیه تروریسم نیازمند اجماع منطقوی و جهانی است و باید این خطر جدی گرفته شود. اگر روند صلح با طالبان به سرانجام برسد، مقابله با تروریسم بین‌المللی جهت مؤثر خود را پیدا خواهد کرد. اکنون طالبان در دوراهی سرنوشت سازی قرار دارند. یا تداوم قرار گرفتن در خدمت سیاست بیگانگان و همراهی با تروریسم بین‌المللی و بسترسازی برای رشد آنان که محکوم به نابودی هستند و یا تصمیم بگیرند که به جنگ و خشونت پایان داده و به صلح و آبادی کشور خود سهیم شوند. موږ د تروریسم د مبارزې په لومړي خط کې یو او افغانستان د تروریسم په مقابل کې او د آزادۍ د دفاع لومړی سنگر او لومړی خط. په دې برخه کې بیا هم لخاغلی ستاینبرگ او خاغلی ماتس نه مننه کوم چې د دې دفاعي خط په پیاوړي کېدو کې او په یو باثباته او د سولې او خوشحالۍ ډک افغانستان دپاره ډېر زحمتونه یې کاږلي او موږ سره په دې لارې کې شریک دي. بیا هم تاسو ته ښه راغلاست وایم، په خیر راغلاست.
تشکر جناب رئیس صاحب. Now I would like to request General Secretary Stoltenberg to make his opening remarks.
Thank you, President Ghani. I have appreciated your friendship for many years, and I also commend you for your great vision for this beautiful country with such a great potential. And Secretary Mattis, I deeply value your experience and knowledge at this time of turbulence and many challenges. I commend you both on your leadership, and I'm honored to be here in Kabul today with Secretary Mattis and to meet with you, President Ghani. Our presence here together reflects our renewed commitment to bringing stability and peace to the people of Afghanistan. During our visit, I will have the privilege of meeting Afghan and coalition forces. Around 13,000 troops from 39 different countries serve in our resolute support mission. Around half are US troops, with the rest coming from European allies and our partner nations. Together, they are here to train, advise and assist the Afghan security forces and to help build defense and security institutions. To help make Afghanistan safer and more secure for the people of Afghanistan and for our own people in our own countries. Much progress has been made, but there is still too much violence, still too much instability, and still too much corruption. NATO's presence in Afghanistan has come at a great cost, a human cost. Hundreds of thousands of brave men and women have served under the NATO flag. Thousands have lost their lives, and many more have suffered visible and invisible wounds. There is also a financial cost. The international community has spent billions sustaining our presence and in support of the Afghan forces. So we know the cost of staying in Afghanistan. But the cost of leaving would be even higher. If NATO forces leave too soon, there is a risk that Afghanistan may return to a state of chaos and once again become a safe haven for international terrorism. The last time that happened, it led to the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the United States, in which almost 3,000 people were murdered. We cannot allow that to happen again. NATO leaving would also risk further instability in the region, including refugees fleeing for the safety of Europe. These risks to our own security, to our own societies, and to our own credibility are too great, and they would be devastating for the Afghan people. NATO doesn't quit when the going gets tough. We keep our promises. That is why I very much welcome that many nations have pledged further contributions to our mission here in Afghanistan, including more troops from the United States. And I welcome President Trump's new condition-based approach to Afghanistan and the region. With NATO's help, Afghan forces have come a very long way. Today they lead the fight against Taliban and international terrorist groups, and they are putting real pressure on the enemy. As they do so, we will continue to work with them in many different areas, including supporting Afghan special forces, building up the Afghan Air Force, and strengthening command and control. NATO is committed to funding the Afghan security forces until at least 2020. And we will continue to provide almost $1 billion each year to the Afghan defense and security forces. So we will stay committed, and we count on the Afghan government to make good on its commitments. On key reforms for good governance, the rule of law, fighting corruption, and protecting the rights of all its people, including women and girls. And we need continued efforts towards a lasting, inclusive, political solution to this conflict. The Taliban must understand that they cannot win on the battlefield. They have much more to gain around the negotiating table. I encourage the Afghan government to prepare the ground for peace and reconciliation. So I welcome the Kabul process, the initiative that you, Mr. President, launched in June. You can rely on our support. NATO will continue to support a peace and reconciliation process that is Afghan-led and Afghan-owned. We encourage all countries in the region to support this process, to play a constructive role in helping to stabilize Afghanistan and to shut down sanctuaries for extremist groups. No one underestimates the challenges this country faces. But I know that together we have the resilience and the determination to make Afghanistan stable and secure, for all of its people and for our own security. Thank you once again, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. General Secretary. I now request Secretary Mattis to make his opening remarks.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and President Ghani, thank you, sir, for hosting Secretary General Stoltenberg and myself here today. We're grateful to you and Chief Executive Abdullah. And I would say too, Mr. President, that this delegation stands united in our desire to advance peace in Afghanistan and to remove the impulses and manifestations of terrorism that threaten the innocent. We are here today to support Afghanistan because instability in South Asia, as Secretary General and the President have already stated, and the extremism that it cultivates endangers all nations as well as the people of Afghanistan. In recognition of these vital interests and thanks to the National Unity Government, I would just say that the support of the international community is now rallied under the NATO flag. And we are here today as evidence of a new strategy that has given us a new opportunity, and Secretary General Stoltenberg's strategic and unflappable leadership at NATO has been key to this opportunity. Our NATO commander, General Nicholson, has earned the trust and admiration of the Afghans and the international community while leading the 39 partner nations of NATO's Resolute Support mission. Each nation stands united with their fellows in their support, and we will not abandon Afghanistan to a merciless enemy trying to kill its way to power. President Ghani, our renewed commitment here today is not only grounded in our shared security concerns, it is also grounded in our confidence in you and Chief Executive Abdullah's demonstrated leadership and in your efforts to unite Afghanistan under a government of national unity. I first met Chief Executive Abdullah in the Panjshir Valley over 10 years ago, and I'm confident here today that his friend Ahmad Shah Massoud's spirit stands with us today because of what he represented to an Afghanistan pulling together. President Ghani, forming a unified government among so many constituencies following the first democratic transition in Afghanistan's history, while battling an active insurgency inside your own country. It's not only a difficult undertaking, but it's a historic achievement by the Afghan people. It's not a tidy process, and it's hard work. And despite enormous political pressures, you have demonstrated a commitment to put your country and the people of Afghanistan first. You have also made clear that the Afghans government and security forces remain responsible and in the lead for securing your country. With our new conditions-based South Asia strategy, we will be better postured to support you as your forces turn the tide against the terrorists. As NATO Secretary General Stoltenberg said last week at the United Nations, this is about making sure that Afghanistan doesn't once again become a safe haven for international terrorists, and the best way of doing that is to enable the Afghans to have defense security forces which are strong enough to do just that. Under this strategy, we are approaching the problem with a more holistic and comprehensive regional framework, providing advisors to accompany Afghan units to provide NATO support to them, adding more U.S. troops alongside additional allied contributions, and making clear that we are not quitting this fight. In short, uncertainty has been replaced by certainty. All of this will be carried out within the coalition framework, making this campaign politically, fiscally, and militarily sustainable. This new strategy is conditions-based, not time-based, because war is principally a matter of will, and we've made clear that we have the will to stand together. Our Afghan partners have fought valiantly, and the Afghan security forces today number more than 300,000 strong, will continue to take the lead. As President Ghani said last week in New York, Afghans are determined to fight. No one should mistake our will to defend our country, and we stand with you. Through our partnership, we will suffocate any hope that Al-Qaeda or ISIS, Daesh, Haqqani, or the Taliban have of winning by killing. I want to reinforce to the Taliban that the only path to peace and political legitimacy for them is through a negotiated settlement. We welcome those who commit to a peaceful future for Afghanistan. We support Afghan-led reconciliation as the solution to this conflict, and the sooner the Taliban recognizes they cannot win with bombs, the sooner the killing will end. President Ghani has established a 4-year plan to improve the strength, the professionalism, and the sustainability of the Afghan security forces, and we in the coalition support his plan. Specifically, increasing the lethality of Afghan security forces by increasing its commandos, special forces, and air capabilities will bring increasing capability to the protection of the Afghan people. Our coalition is committed to doing everything humanly possible to protect the innocent caught up in this war, where our enemy purposely targets the innocent. We also see an improving generation of Afghan leaders thanks to additional coalition trainers at training centers and the new selection process for who leads in this fight. By instituting reforms found in President Ghani's plan and implementing counter-corruption efforts to ensure accountability, we will see sustained improvements. Mr. President, on this latter point, I want to applaud your personal commitment to reform. You recognize the value in fighting corruption and in accelerating institutional reform across government, ensuring the protection of your people by more capable security forces and better government services for your people. The recently launched bilateral compact outlining more than 200 measurable benchmarks for reform demonstrates our shared emphasis on achieving these goals. And lastly, Mr. President, we continue to support Afghanistan. We remain committed to building the capacity of your armed forces to secure Afghanistan and to end this war, reconciling with those who want a better future for the Afghan people and a world free of terror. Thank you.
Thank you. And now on the questions, you'll start with Tom Watkins from AFP.
Thank you. First, I was wondering if any of you could please respond to reports this morning of a rocket attack near the airport just after we landed today. Doesn't this highlight how bad the security situation is, even in the capital? Then I'd like to ask each one of you a question. Mr. President, if I may, there are reports that President Trump is pressuring you to close the Taliban office in Doha. Are you going to agree to that? Then for Secretary Mattis, what is your current assessment of how much weaponry and support Russia and Iran are now providing the Taliban? And finally, for Secretary General, NATO has praised the new conditions-based approach for Afghanistan, but some European officials are grumbling that not enough has changed. How do you persuade European members to support this indefinite extension to the Afghan mission? Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. There has been an attack. Our CRU, our special forces, are dealing with it. This is attacking civilian targets is a sign of weakness, not strength. Simultaneously, you need to take account they are losing against every single Afghan army corps. The conduct of war this year, its leadership has been exceptional, but terror does not recognize boundaries. Is an attack on London a sign of weakness of London or the heinousness of the terrorists? We stand together against the forces of terror and we will contend. The report is a rumor, and let's leave it at the level of the rumor. It's not a policy.
On the question of how to make sure that European allies are contributing troops to the NATO mission in Afghanistan, I would say the following, and that is that a stable and secure Afghanistan is in the interest of NATO. The more stable Afghanistan is, the more safe will we be. So that's the reason why we are in Afghanistan, because we have seen that it is extremely important to support Afghanistan in their fight against terrorism, because that's also our fight against terrorism. And we have to make everything we can, or we have to do everything we can to prevent Afghanistan once again becoming a safe haven for international terrorists. We saw what happened last time that was the case back in 2001, 9/11. So I'm absolutely convinced that European allies will not only support the US new strategy in words but also in deeds. At our defense ministerial meeting in June, we actually decided to increase the troop levels of the NATO mission in Afghanistan, and several allies have already started to come up and step up their pledges to send more troops. So they are sending troops to Afghanistan because it is in their interest to have a more stable and secure Afghanistan.
Yeah, I want to mention something about the attack on the international airport. If in fact there was an attack, I've only heard some press reports so far, not confirmed, but an attack on an international airport anywhere in the world is a criminal act by terrorists. It's designed to go after generally innocent people to make some sort of statement, and this is a classic definition of what the Taliban are up to right now. It defines their approach to how they see their role here, and if in fact this is what they have done, they will find the Afghan security forces continuing on the offensive against them in every district of the country right now. So it is what it is, but it's also the reason why we band together and we don't question what we're doing here. On the role of anybody providing support to the Taliban, I would just put it this way. Terrorism is a scourge for everyone in this world. Those two countries that you mentioned, Tom, have both suffered losses due to terrorism. So I think it'd be extremely unwise to think that they can somehow support terrorists in another country and not have it come back to haunt them. But I'm not willing to discuss the specifics at this time on those two countries.
Thank you. Fahim Nouri from Ariana News.
تشکر بسیار زیاد جناب رئیس جمهور. یک سوال از شما دارم در مورد ازی که شما در مجمع عمومی سازمان ملل متحد گفتین که فرصت است برای پاکستان که درگیر شود با گفتگوها با افغانستان، وارد گفتگوها با افغانستان شود. آیا شما پاسخ از پاکستان دریافت کردین در این مورد؟ و my next question goes to Mr. Secretary of Defense. What do you think if Pakistan not take any action regarding the safe havens? What the next steps will be?
تشکر. ماحول تغییر کرده. ما آماده مذاکرات همه جانبه هستیم که صلح، ثبات و رفاه در منطقه قائم شد. توپ در میدان پاکستان است که از این فرصت که یک فرصت طلایی است استفاده مثبت میکنه. علائم اولیه بد نیست، اما قبل از وقت است که قضاوت کنیم. اما وظیفه ما است که آینده نگر باشیم و از حال برای هدفی که مردم افغانستان حداقل 40 سال برش ماطل بودن که ضرورت یک پالیسی همه جانبه منطقه‌ای از طرف شرکای بین‌المللی ماست که امروز فضل خداوند استراتژی وجود داره در موجودیت دو بزرگوار که در دو طرف هستند. افغانستان موقفش برحق است و امید داریم که پیام صلح و همکاری ما جذب شود و به پیش بره.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree 100% with President Ghani that this South Asia strategy and this renewed commitment is an opportunity for Pakistan to engage in the counter-terror campaign. The South Asia strategy is not exclusive of someone. It is inclusive for all responsible states that want to stop terrorism in its tracks and defend the innocent. So I see this as an opportunity, and we will work this issue forward with that idea in mind, that vision in mind.
Thank you. Jennifer Rezo from CNN.
How have the new rules of engagement changed the battlefield in the fight against the Taliban? And Mr. President, have the new rules of engagement caused you any concern over whether there'll be more civilian casualties?
Rules of engagement and impact on civilians.
Yeah, Jennifer, the point I would make is that for many years, the NATO forces have operated with one fundamental precept, and that is we are here to protect the Afghan people while we attack the terrorists. We are up against an enemy right now that intentionally fights from among innocent people, that intentionally hides behind women and children, that intentionally tries to draw fire on the innocent. And we do everything humanly possible, whether you call them rules of engagement, you call them the traditional chivalry of the NATO forces, we do everything possible to protect the innocent on the battlefield. We're not the perfect guys, but we are the good guys, and we will continue to do everything possible. There will never be a time when we decide that the safety of the non-combatants, of the innocents on the battlefield, is something to be bartered away for some sort of military advantage. We would hope for a Taliban that would show some sort of consideration, but they have proven over years they have no consideration, no respect for the Afghan people. But we will continue to do our level best and everything humanly possible to avoid any casualties.
Thank you. Sajjad Mohammadi from TV1.
بسیار زیاد تشکر. من سوالم از جناب وزیر صاحب دفاع امریکاست. مشخص آیا تا هنوز مشخص شده که ایالات متحده امریکا چی تعداد سرباز به افغانستان میفرسته؟ یک موضوع دیگه ای که پاکستان بارها در طول 17 سال تعهد همکاری و مبارزه با تروریسم داده، اما وقتی در عمل ثابت شده طور دیگه عمل کرده. آیا مشخص بعد از اعلام استراتژی امریکا تا هنوز کدام نشانه‌ای را شما دیدین که پاکستان همکاری بکنه و اگر نکنه اقدام بعدی امریکا چی است؟ مشخص چی کار میخواین شما بکنین؟ آیا میخواین تحریم‌های نظامی و اقتصادی بالای پاکستان وضع کنین یا مشخص سرباز بفرستین به خاطر از بین بردن پناهگاه تروریست‌ها، چیزی که در استراتژی امریکا هم در او اشاره شده؟ تشکر.
Yeah, the number of troops we're bringing in, we are bringing in reinforcements, and those reinforcements are designed to add more advisors to your units in the field and more trainers in your military schools. In other words, the Afghan forces continue to take the lead, as they should, in the defense of their country, but we are going to give them more advantage to the NATO access and advantage from the NATO air forces overhead to make sure that no time does the Taliban own the high ground. We will always own the high ground, and we are going to make certain those aircraft have a connection to the troops on the ground who are fighting to protect their people. I prefer not to go into the specific numbers right now. We are bringing in more Americans. There are also more coalition forces, non-Americans who are coming in. I don't want to tell the enemy exactly what we're doing, but the whole point is to make certain that we have a compelling battlefield advantage over anything the Taliban tries to mass against your forces. We're not going to stand for that. So far as Pakistan, we will watch Pakistan's choices. We will engage with Pakistan. We will continue to work in a unified way between NATO, the coalition, the Afghan government, and the other regional governments in South Asia as we try to set the conditions for a positive set of nations in teamwork against the terrorists, Taliban, Daesh, ISIS, whoever they might be. There's an increasing collusion. There's increasing teamwork among the various terrorist bands, and I would just tell you that this simply gives a more impetus to those of us who are against terrorism to work together.
Thank you. Bill Gallo from Voice of America.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much. This question is for Secretary Mattis and Secretary General Stoltenberg. Under the new strategy for Afghanistan, what are the metrics you're using to define success? How will you know you're winning and that the new policy is making a difference?
Yeah, Bill, what we're going to do is we're going to take the compact that has been put together. We're going to match it to the NATO mandate of support to the Afghans. We're going to then evaluate President Ghani's more than 200 benchmarks, plus we have others we are going to engage with the Afghans to adopt as well as we mature this metric system. And we will evaluate them on a frequent basis, some of them on a monthly, some of them on a yearly basis, depending on what kind of metrics we're using for which issues. And we are going to be monitoring them across the various issues that have been spoken about up here today. Who initiates the most fights with the enemy? How are we doing on selection of junior officers from NCO ranks? How are we doing on counter-corruption? All of this comes together in an integrated whole of government, whole of coalition campaign. And the ongoing evaluation will be transparent. In other words, we will share all of our data, we will review it together, and we'll make adaptations as needed. Secretary General.
The main reason for NATO being in Afghanistan is to prevent Afghanistan becoming a safe haven for international terrorists. And the best way to achieve that is to enable the Afghans themselves to stabilize their own country. And we have made a lot of progress because not so many years ago there were more than 100,000 NATO troops in a big combat operation in Afghanistan. Now we are, 13,000 is the current level. And the main purpose of that mission is to train and assist and advise the Afghans. And the Afghan security forces took over responsibility for the security in this country in 2015. So we are step by step enabling the Afghans to handle the situation in Afghanistan themselves, and that's the best way to achieve the main goal of our presence, namely to make sure that Afghanistan not once again is a safe haven for international terrorists. And that is important for us because instability in Afghanistan is not only a problem for the Afghans, but it is also a big problem and threat to people living in NATO-allied countries. Let me also, since it was asked in the beginning, just say that I totally agree, of course, with President Ghani and Secretary Mattis on the comments on the attack. An attack on a civilian airport is a criminal act, it's an act of terrorism, and it's a sign of weakness, not of strength, and that's exactly why I would like to commend the Afghan security forces which are handling these kinds of attacks, and yet another example of how they are, how professional they are, how committed they are, and how they are able to handle these kind of security threats which happens in Afghanistan, and just underlines why we will continue to train and assist and advise them.
Thank you. Durandesh from Khurshid TV.
با عرض سلام و ادب، در اول از وزیر دفاع امریکا و دبیرکل ناتو سفرشان به افغانستان خوش آمدید میگم. من دو سوال دارم، یک سوالم از جناب رئیس جمهور است و سوال بعدی هم از آقای متیس وزیر دفاع ایالات متحده امریکاست. آقای رئیس جمهور گزارش ها میرسانه که شما با دونالد ترامپ رئیس جمهور ایالات متحده امریکا در واشنگتن در مورد بسته شدن دفتر سیاسی طالبان در قطر گفتگو کردید. آیا حتی ایالات متحده آمریکا آقای ترامپ خواستار شده از حکومت افغانستان تا این دفتر را بسته کنه؟ آیا حکومت افغانستان در صورتی که ایالات متحده آمریکا بخواد دفتر بسته شود، حکومت افغانستان تمایل دارد تا این دفتر را بسته بکنه و یا نه؟ آقای متیس، پس از اعلام راهبرد شما، یگانه کشوری که مخالفتش نشان داد با این راهبرد حکومت پاکستان بود. حکومت پاکستان حتی با این صدایش توانست کشورهای از جمله روسیه و چین وادار بسازد تا از این راهبرد در برابر این راهبرد مخالفت نشان بدن. با وجود که ایالات متحده آمریکا میداند که پناهگاه امن در خاک پاکستان هست، آیا برنامه وجود دارد تا ایالات متحده آمریکا به خاطر نابودی هراس‌افکنان در خاک پاکستان پناهگاه امنش هراس‌افکنی را البته مورد آموزش قرار بده و یا نه؟ تشکر.
Thank you. You know, we've just rolled the strategy out, and before I consider making any pronouncement about its success or failure, or about, you know, as far as somebody looking at it saying they don't like it, I want to engage with them first. You understand that we need to engage, we need to sit down together and talk very openly and frankly about where we're at today, where we've been, and where we're going to go. And so those discussions will be ongoing, and you have seen the strategy yourself, so you know where our position is, and we'll move forward along those lines.
تشکر از سوالتون. چون بیشترم سوال شد شاید جواب واضح نبوده باشه. راجع این جزء موضوعات بحث ما نبود. گزارشی که آمده افواز به اساس مذاکرات استوار نیست. در ماحول تغییر ما باید سر دفتر فکر جدی کنیم و اگر ضرورتش باشه دولت افغانستان در این بار تصمیم خواهد گرفت و اگر در ضرورت الغایش باشه هم دولت افغانستان سرش تصمیم خواهد گرفت و البته همکارای بین‌المللی ما در بخش صلح همگام هستند با ما. هدف اساسی را فراموش نکنید که ضرورت یک راه حل سیاسی بر از این معضله است و بازم تاکید میکنم که یک تغییر اساسی در ماحول منطقوی انشالله در حال ایجاد است و ما باید از استفاده کنیم. تشکر.
Tashakar. Gordon Lebald from Wall Street Journal.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, a question on Iraq for you. I wondered if you could give us a reaction to the Kurdish vote toward independence in Iraq and how that might affect American forces operating there. And Mr. President Ghani and Secretary General Stoltenberg, as you know, Secretary Mattis has returned from India. Do you see that there's a risk of the U.S. strategy vis-a-vis India could backfire when it comes to potentially angering Pakistan more and getting it to move in the wrong direction, not in the right direction with regard to Afghanistan? Thank you.
We welcome the new U.S. strategy for many different reasons. One reason why we welcome the new U.S. strategy announced by President Trump recently is that it has this regional approach. And this region includes both Pakistan and India. So therefore we have both those nations have to be included in a regional approach. We urge all countries in the region to support an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned peace process. And I can't see, there is no reason that dialogue and to have India as part of this regional approach should create any problems. I think on the opposite, if India was not included, that would be a big mistake. So we urge all countries to participate, but as part of an Afghan-led and Afghan-owned peace process.
Geography is compelling. There's several nations in South Asia. We have to deal with all of them. And you know, in the case of India, they have been very, very generous in their assistance, development assistance to Afghanistan. And I believe they are committed to doing even more to help the people of Afghanistan. Certainly that cannot be seen as contrary to another nation's interest to help people who are working their way out of many, many difficult years since the Soviet invasion. As far as in Iraq, we have had no impacts to date based on the Kurdish referendum, and we're engaged with all the different parties in the area there right now politically, but militarily it's had no impact.
Well, thank you. First, India is a major partner in development. In Brussels conference, India pledged a very generous sum of $1 billion for assisting the Afghan people. Second, India is our largest export partner. The largest amount of exports from Afghanistan go to India. And third, India is potentially one of the largest investors in Afghanistan. We have two choices, either a lose-lose regional strategy or a win-win regional strategy. In a win-win regional strategy, we need to all recognize that a stable Afghanistan is in everybody's benefit, and Afghanistan can become the platform for regional cooperation. Afghan territory will not be permitted to be used for destabilization of any of our neighbors, and this is a cardinal principle with us. We do not differentiate between good and bad terrorism and do not engage in destabilizing our neighbors. But a central component of sovereignty is the ability to have relationship with a third country. We are having an equally productive dialogue with China. China, again, is a fundamental economic regional power, and we are having the same dialogue with Azerbaijan and then with the Gulf. It needs to be seen as part of an approach that the natural resources of Afghanistan, its location, and the immense talent of its people can only be developed as part of a regional approach. And I hope that the necessary wisdom that is required to embark on a win-win strategy starts in this South Asia strategy is a harbinger of things to come.
Thank you. Ihsanullah Ihsan from Kabul News.
مننه ښاغلی ولسمشر زما پوښتنه په لومړي سر کې ښاغلی میټس ته راجع ده په لومړي سر کې مې پوښتنه ښاغلی میټس ته راجع ده د امریکا ستراتیژي د افغانستان په تړاو باندې په دې کې د پاکستان باندې زیات فشارونه وارد شوي وو طبعا په پاکستان له دغو فشارونو په اندېښنه کې دی خو دغسې ناڅاپي د امریکا په سیاست کې د پاکستان پر وړاندې تغییر په څه معنا دی؟ حال دا چې وړاندې حکومتونو د افغانستان امریکا ته په وار ویلي وو چې د ترهګرو تمویل، تجهیز او اکمال له پاکستان څخه کیږي، خو په دې تړاو باندې امریکا هغه مهال بې تفاوته پاتې شوه. اوس چې دغه تغییر په سیاست کې راغلی دی، دا په څه معنا دی؟ او مسله دوهمه دغه ده چې د امریکا ناتو او په ټوله کې نړیوال افغانستان ته د ترهګرۍ د له منځه وړلو لپاره راغلي دي. ادعا یې دغه ده چې ترهګري په افغانستان کې له منځه وړي. خو دغه ډلې ترهګرې ډلې چې زیاتې هم شوې او تقویه هم شوې، د دوی په حضور کې دغه کار وشو، ولې دغسې وشول؟ مننه.
Well, first of all, I think we have to look at the history of where this all began. And when you look back at the history, it creates a very difficult framework for Afghanistan as a country, for Afghanistan's people. When the Soviets came in with the invasion, they basically turned the society upside down. Many of the local areas that were under certain types of local control, which was acceptable to the Afghan government in those days, they were eviscerated. They were destroyed by the Soviet invasion. And in that social fabric being torn apart, I think an awful lot of refugees were created. Children were left without parents. Family structures were destroyed. Tribal alignments were basically thrown against each other. And by the time we see the Soviets leave, much of the damage had been done. You have children who are going to schools which are teaching them hatred at a young age. And then you're trying to come in now with a review of this and say, how could this be? Well, that is exactly why we redid our strategy, why we sat down with members of your government taking information from them, and why we looked at this regionally to begin with, why we decided to realign our forces into almost a totally advisory role and teaching role and expand that role so that we can turn this situation around. You know, there's a saying in the game of golf, you have to play the ball where it lies. I cannot change where the ball lies today. All I can commit to you is that we stand united with your government of national unity and with the Afghan people to restore peace in this turbulent time. And that means we're all going to have to work together across the South Asia region, and that's the way we plan to go forward on what President Ghani defined as a win-win regional strategy. And that's our commitment here today.
من دوه لارې لري. یا به 40 کاله تیرو 40 کالو باندې غږیږي، یا به نن اقدام کوئ چې سبا وګټو. دا چې تیر کې څه سوي وو، مسؤلیت د هغه اشخاصو ده چې هلته مسؤل وو. موږ ملي مسؤلیت دا وو چې ثابته کړو چې د افغانستان امنیتي و دفاعي قوا په خپلو پښو درېدلی سي، له دې خاورې نه دفاع کولی سي. او که دوی سرشندنه نه وه، نن به موږ دې پیمان ته نه رسېدلو. دا مه هېروو چې موږ دفاعي او امنیتي قوتونه سنګرو کې دي. دوی قرباني ته باید ټول قدر ورکړي او د دې عزت وکړي. دوم، هم پاکستان ته هم طالبانو ته په مجرد چې دا بار ما په اوږو راغی، موږ د سولې لاس وړاندې کړ. مسئول د جنگ د افغانستان دولت او بین المللي قوه نه دي. مسئول د جنگ هغه افراد دي چې توریستي حرکات شروع کړل، د سولې پیغام یې وننیو، جنگ ته یې دوام ورکړ. نن ماحول بدل سوی او په دې بدل ماحول کې موږ نه غواړو چې په احساساتو وغږیږو، موږ غواړو په عقل او تدبیر خپل ملي ګټې خوندي کړو. او هیله مې دا ده چې دې فرصت کې موږ ځپل سوي یو، موږ ټوټه ټوټه سوي یو. موږ لام، ښی لاس او چپه پښه په مهاجرت کې دي. افغانستان باید برته یو واحد وجود باندې راسي او لکه چې ما همیشه ویلي دي هیڅ افغان له بل افغان نه برتر نه ده، هیڅ افغان له بل افغان نه کمتر نه ده. دغه ته زمینه برابره سوې او هیله مند یم چې په دې تغییر سره چې راغلی موږ به د هغه بدلون شاهدان اوسو چې ټول ولس یې غواړي. یو ستراتیژي په اول ورځې باندې ورسره قضاوت نسئ کوی، اما ایله ده چې درته ثابته سوی چې زه ولس ته دروغ نه وایم. زه درته وایم چې ماحول بدل سوی، په دې متغیر ماحول کې راسئ چې عقلاني هدفمند حرکت وکړو او انشاءالله تعالی هم ملی سولې ته برسېږو او هم منطقه‌یي اجماع به ژوندي کړو چې د افغانستان ولس له دې درد و غم ووځي. بیا هم غواړم له دواړو مشرانو نه مننه وکړم او د دوی له مرستې نه او له ګډ سفر. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Secretary General and Secretary Mattis, my great friends and great friends of Afghanistan, for coming together. This is an unprecedented event that the Secretary of State of the United States, a distinguished general, and Secretary General of NATO, a distinguished diplomat, come together. Your arrival together is a sign of your commitment, but equally the reciprocal commitment of the Afghan people, the Afghan government, the government of national unity, and myself, that whatever sacrifice is required in order to bring enduring peace and stability to this country will be committed to it. And that corruption, the menace that it haunted Afghanistan, is being recognized for what it is, and it's going to be confronted. I don't think that in our history there has been a three-star general that is received a prison sentence or others or rich men that have been indicted in a court of law. We will redouble our effort. I thank you, Ms. Secretary, for your enormous dedication to this strategy. We want to thank President Trump and your entire team for taking the time. Time was required to arrive at something that was comprehensive, that was holistic. And as always, your partner, both against terrorism and for stability, are the people of this country. And Mr. Secretary General, please convey our thanks to all the 39 countries that have committed their sons and daughters to us. And let me state one thing categorically. There is no return to combat role either for NATO or for the United States. The role is advise, train, and assist, and this will ensure that our security and defense forces are enabled to do what is our patriotic duty and historic obligation to do. Thank you.
Thank you. With this, our press briefing is concluded.